Hello, welcome to Skull RPG Podcast. My name's Dwight Skull.
My name's Jacob Skull.
And today we're going to teach you how to tell your story.
So, this is a kind of a question for you, and we've done this before, but it would be more specifically towards D&D, but it would be still general if you were stuck at level 4 and you want to have them progress to like level 7, but you don't want to necessarily slog through level 5 and level 6, how would you jump the time forward and say, hey, well, during these levels, you guys were out doing various other adventures, and now we're back here, and you've leveled up to X now. And then we're going to go on with the main story now.
Yeah, and definitely you would want to do it for, well, two reasons. One is thematic reasons, right? Where it's like, I don't really see that us playing through 2 levels or, let's say, a year of game time really matters anymore, right? And we do this all the time already, right? So it's one of those, you need to go travel to the other side of the continent. You guys don't have teleport yet.
You're there.
So you guys spend 6 months and you're on the other side of the world now. Great. But somehow along the way you never got any experience for it, which I seem to think is kind of jacked up. I mean, we didn't have at least one random encounter in the entire 6 months. I'm pretty sure we did. So you could actually use that travel time to then say, hey, while you were there and about, you found some small caves, you blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go ahead and give you the experience as if you were a 7th level and adjust your money as if you were a 7th level and buy something as if you were able to buy
stuff. Give them the loot from their dungeons, not necessarily in full bore, but hey, while you guys were going for 3 months, add another level and add like 3,000 GP.
Exactly.
Done.
Yeah, and you guys can spend it on anything under X because you would have passed through a town or two that had the ability to get you, or you could do it a different way. You could just say, that you're whatever, like that your wizard's saving up for something. You can be like, okay, you're level 7 and you have that item.
Yep.
Done. Or hey, that +1 is now a +3 or something along those lines that you just found it and it's over.
And
have a
it's
nice
also
day.
A good way for you to go, you're under-leveled right now. Yes. I need you to have items or things around you to actually help you get up so I can bring your challenge rating up.
Yes, because sometimes the real issue of as a GM, you're like, hey, it was really fun to play at level 1, and then level 3 happened, and I'm kind of bored, and I'm really tired of throwing really little guys at this. I need them to be like level 7 so I could start actually throwing some monsters I think would be fun to play against them. How do I do that? Well, make them travel across the world, and somehow during that traveling time for 6 months they leveled up, and that should be believable because, no offense, if you looked at the game time they were spending, it's like, well, no offense, you just leveled up in like 3 sessions. If you follow the rule of 3 in our podcast on the rule of 3, how much time was that? Like a week? Seriously?
Clearing maybe half a floor a session, if that.
So, like a week of game time, and you leveled. So 6 months, it's easily foreseeable that you leveled 3 times in 6 months because of just finding stuff along the way.
And that stuff smaller scale than what you were fighting previously. Yeah. So it equals out-ish in the end.
Yeah. It's not like, right, gearing up to do a dungeon is going to be taxing on you. And then after a while, you'd be like, okay, no more dungeons for a while. We need to rest up. Like, I'm tired of slogging my way through a dungeon. It's kind of like asking an accountant during tax season to do tax season all year long. They'll look at you like, no, I have 3 months of hell. And then I have like mediocre work for 9 months. It's not like I'm not working. I have work to do, but I have 3 months of just pain. And then I go help business clients quarterly. And that's how I make my money, and it's fine. But everybody personally doing their taxes once a year is literally 3 months of craziness. So it's like the dungeon is 3 months of craziness. The traveling 6 months across the country is the 9 months of leisure. It doesn't mean you're not leveling. It just means you're not leveling like as intensive. The other way to do it is if you're wanting something thematic, where it's like, it doesn't really matter what the players do. So like for instance, we were doing kind of like a Scooby-Doo mage game. So Mage the Ascension or the Reckoning, I can't remember which version we did from White Wolf Games. It's in
Awakening.
It's in the Vampire the Masquerade world, basically. except you're humans. And I was like, okay, we're doing this thing here, but now I need to basically re-interact them with the thing that they cared about. So what we did is I just said, okay, several years have gone by, and we were playing mage, like I said, so I just gave them a number of points to represent side quests and other missions they've gone on. They then leveled up their character, and then I said, okay, then this next thing happens. Because what I was trying to do is tell like a 3-part story, and each part took place at a very specific time, but then there were like gaps, like maybe 10, 20 years or 5 years between these parts. I didn't care about telling the story between those parts. So I just wanted to tell the story of the parts. So to do that, I just needed to get them leveled. Plus, it also let me throw harder stuff at you.
It also made sense in terms of the story that you were telling, too, because the thing that was hunting us had the time and the power to escalate to where it was getting to.
Yeah, and it needed time, right? Mm-hmm. It needed time to build its resources up and get ready to go after us, or you, really. So, I mean, at the end of the day, that's one other way to do it. So if you're just tired of slogging through levels 3 through 6 or whatever of D&D...
and you want to fast cut to another level. Just fast cut and just adjust accordingly for them.
Or if you need to do a thematic reason, again, just fast cut to it. Let your players know, hey, the next game session, you're going to be X number of years older. For that, I'm going to give you X number of experience to kind of show that you've been doing stuff for it. Please expend... Yeah, well, in GURPS, I mean, in Mage or GURPS or something, it's just, here's the experience.
Yes.
Please do whatever you want with it. And but in D&D or Pathfinder, you'd be like, here's the gold and the experience.
Yep.
Or the items to make up for it.
Pick 3 items underneath X level that you want because you have those now.
Or you just take their like level. You knew they were saving up for a level like a +2 weapon, so you just give it to them. Like, now you have a +2 greatsword instead of a +1. That's what you bought with your money there, and it's like just make sure that it makes sense with the money they would have gotten with it.
Yes.
And maybe you're like, yeah, you got a +2 greatsword and 500 GP. You got a +1 whatever and like 400 GP, whatever it is, doesn't matter. Point is, just give them money and experience commensurate with the experience you want to bring them up to. So now you're not having the other problem of a character who should have money and experience but only has experience, thus they actually can't hit at their weight class, and now you have a problem with the challenge rating that we talked about earlier a couple days ago. So that's where we're going to leave you. You guys have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, thanks for listening.
And for more resources, please go to skullrpg.com.